a day like today, 48 hours before the 2019 election, we had live inside this same Halo Chamber, this great studio of Oyo State's #1 radio station, Fresh FM 105.9. Then, PDP candidate, Governor Seyi Makide, the company of others, Wolusha, now Otun, Olubadan, Senator-elect, I'm talking about the one and the only, Sharafa Dinali, and of course, Senator Lanleyi. Almost 4 years after, things have turned full circle. We are back, and we are alive. And we give God all the glory. We give God all the honor. It takes a lot for a station to maintain its consistency at a time like this. The final word of politics in Oyo State, always heard on this dial, on this station. And that is what you are going to hear this wonderful evening. As His Excellency Governor Seyi Makide, who 4 years ago was the PDP candidate sitting live inside this same studio. And right now, the governor of Oyo State, and in 2 days' time, is asking you, the people of Oyo State, for his votes once again. I give God all the glory that tonight can happen. It is the way it's been structured to happen, deliberately so. While I give God all the glory, I must also thank the leadership that have been offered by the chairman, CEO of Fresh FM Nigeria, Dr. Yinka Ayifele, who has been the brain behind all this. We believe in surprises sometimes, and when you get a gift, they are not actually expecting. You tend to appreciate it more than something that's been foretold. And that's the conversation we're going to have today. Governor Seyi Makide was there 4 years ago, promising heaven and earth if elected. You listened to him 2 days later. You gave him your vote. Over 500,000 votes he had with support of others. How well has he justified those votes 4 years on? Tonight, he returns back to the same place where I spoke last to you on radio to tell you ibi abache dere ìdí tí àtúfẹ́ kẹ́ dìbò fún wa rèé. He's been saying it, Omitutu 2.0. So tonight, we are putting him on the spot. We are putting him on spot. All our lines are buzzing. All our lines are buzzing. Everybody want to get in and have a feel of tonight. Let me welcome the gang. To God be the glory. We were all here in 2019. Ikú Yawa, Àrùn Yawa, and we're all back again 4 years later. And Wagba, láti sọ̀rọ̀ lálẹ́. Award-winning journalist with Nigerian Tribune, Dare Adekombi. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, and good evening to our fans all over the world. I know the whole state is mobilized, and even beyond those in the diaspora, I got a couple of messages on Facebook that from as far as West Brom in England, I mean the United Kingdom. You know, people said they were going to hook on to this program and to listen to the governor. Mayor, it's we give God all the glory, like you have said. That yes, 4 years, but Mayor, I think we are going to have to celebrate our anniversary on Fresh FM, which is more than 4 years. The song that came to my mind when I was listening to your introductory remarks was, 4 years don't waka, we still they carry go. Nobody waka, nobody go solo. Baba God do. So now your grace, it's the grace of God, Mayor.
It's the grace of God.
So we thank God that the station that offered us the platform has also grown in leaps and bounds, and we are appreciative of the freedom because that's very key, Mayor, of the chairman, that the chairman has given us to freely express ourselves as part of our contributions towards deepening democracy in Nigeria. And the chairman has not in any way gagged us, and that's one of the beauties of this very wonderful and lovely program. And that's why the station will continue to be the lead while others will follow. And I say that with all sense of responsibility, because when you look at what has come out of this station in terms of taking on public officers, holding their feet to fire, ensuring that there is a fidelity to the promises that they made to the people of Oyo State, while on this platform, and that for me is very massive. And so, Mayor, we also thank you for being a very good captain of the ship. The ship has continued, to sail smoothly, and it has not foundered. And we thank God that we are here today. So it's a great moment that that Thursday, 4 years ago, we were in these studios, and of course, everything was cooked, and made and prepared and eaten deliciously right here in these studios. Those gladiators were here. And they addressed the people of the state. They told them why they surrendered their aspiration to allow the youngest of them all, Engineer Seyi Makide, to be the coalition candidate, and of course he eventually proceeded, to win the election by over 515,000 votes, I think. So 4 years after, we will listen to the governor how he has delivered on those promises that he made, and of course we also make our own interventions. So thank you very much, Mayor.
Let me also say that to this broadcast, I can tell you, is statewide. Let me quickly acknowledge stations that are also broadcasting this conversation. Of course, you can hear us live, clean, loud and clear on our sister station, Blast FM 98.3. Also, you can hear us live, clean, loud and clear on Inspiration FM tonight. Let me also report that Jams FM are also live as we speak. You can get to hear all this conversation this wonderful evening. iFlyer FM, you can also get to hear us this wonderful evening. Of course, Ileshe Radio, Agbalode, Pensioners Radio, they're also broadcasting this conversation this wonderful evening. Let me also say, out there in the saying, Aloore Casmont FM, lower by, they are streaming and they're also broadcasting this conversation. Brave FM is also broadcasting this conversation as we speak. And for Okeogun, I can assure you as well, they've always been there. Gravity FM, we must also thank you for joining this conversation. The number one journalist in the state, Demola Lola, reminiscence, right? It's a Governor Seyi Makide made his final appeal to the people of Oyo State 4 years ago inside the studio. They obeyed him. Today, he has chosen to make his closing argument why he should be re-elected. His choice for the final word, same Hello Chamber of your darling station, Fresh FM 105.9.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mayor, and thank you also, my colleague, Daria Adekombi. Let me start by praising God for the grace of life and for the gift of life. 4 years down the line, we are still here, waxing stronger, of course. I remember 4 years ago, we had only 105.9 FM Ibadan. But within the last 4 years, to God be the glory, through the sagacity and commitment of the management of Fresh FM, under the able leadership of our dear Oga, our chairman, Dr. Yinka Joel Ayefele, the brand had grown in leaps and bounds. And today, we have about 7 FM stations and still counting by the day.
Tiwa is loading.
Tiwa is coming very soon. To God be the glory. That tells you that God is involved. When God is involved in the project, this is what you see. you see manifestation of God's presence and the expansion of
4 years and
picture chairman Facebook never forget those pictures are on Facebook. We'll go and exhume those pictures
4 years ago
before and after.
Mayor so tá à ń sọ ni pé ọdún mẹ́rin sẹ́yìn nígbà yẹn lọ́hùn tá à ń sí ọjọ́ ní náà ni history has a way of repeating itself.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
48 hours to
Fresh
election.
FM grow ẹ̀yin náà grow.
náà ni we had one then but today.
ẹ̀yin náà grow.
ọ̀pọ̀ ni follow.
Chairman has already won his second term.
farabalẹ̀.
ọdún mẹ́rin chairman ọ̀tí ẹ̀ máa ṣe punch ni ó lọ ni àbí this day.
sáré farabalẹ̀.
ọdún mẹ́rin sẹ́yìn ṣe punch ni àbí this day.
àánú la rí gbà. àánú la rí gbà. mayor.
gómìnà náà fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ kejì. gómìnà ṣẹlẹ̀ kejì báyìí.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni àánú la rí gbà mayor. I thank God for the grace and we thank our chairman for the support the chairman renders to all of us individually and collectively on regular basis. The welfare packages on daily basis, on regular basis, we thank the chairman. We appreciate his support for our families, for our individual efforts. We thank him. We thank the management generally for believing in this program, for believing in us, and for the freedom given to all of us to ply our trade the way we think will be the best in terms of journalistic ethics and modus operandi of this profession in Nigeria and your state, Ibadan in particular. So we thank everybody. Mayor, you have been so wonderful. I must give that to you. I remember by March 22nd, about 6 days' time, it will be exactly 2 years that I had a surgical operation. You know, at that time, I was not coming to the studio for like 2-3 weeks then.
Yes.
The growth inside. Yes, I had a blockade on my ear passage and I was operated upon. I had surgical operation, but thank God, that time I knew the essence of being able to talk, being able to open your mouth and talk. It's a grace. I remember I asked Dr. Ayefele one time that, Oga, ohun tí òkè ń ha ni ọ̀gá ni àlọ́ òníjọ́ láíláí ilé oúnjẹ nìyẹn kò gbọ́dọ̀ ha ọlọ́run jọ so ìpínlẹ̀ bá ń lajú tó bá ń rí náà tó bá sùn lálẹ́ tó jí láàárọ̀ tó lè fẹsẹ̀ rìn tó lè dìde tó lè sọ̀rọ̀ orí ọ̀fẹ́ ńlá ni táàmì ẹ̀ mọ̀ pé grace ní kí ẹ lè sọ̀rọ̀ jáde lẹ́nu. You remember I was in your house, Mayor. I could not communicate. You are the one doing all the talking. I was like OD, but
he resorted to sign language.
Sign language. At the time, I was crying in my house. I was doing all this sign language to my wife and the children. If I want them to do anything for me, I will do like this. Some sign. But thank God that today, the voice is clearer. We thank God for the gift, for the grace. And Mayor, this is what it is. Governor 4 years down the line, well, to the best of his ability, the governor has been able to touch many sectors. And I also know that he must have done many other things that he didn't promise. This dynamism, even when you promise some things, some other things will be cropping up. For instance, 4 years ago, we never knew that would be COVID-19. COVID-19 came and turned the whole universe, changed the whole dynamics in governance across the globe. There are shut down, people did not shut down.
Blistering interview. We could only define him via what he said was going to do and his antecedents, philanthropic activities that we saw. 4 years later, we can define him. We have seen what he has done. We'll be contrasting the promises he made in terms of what he hoped to do for the people of Oyo State and what he has done, and try and subject that to interrogation for his re-election bid. It's been a very turbulent week, I must tell you. The biggest news that we got almost this evening has to do with the fact that Olubadan in council, the high chiefs, right, today paid Governor Seyi Makide a court visit. I've seen the the clip. I've seen the video where all of them said they figure it out, right? You remember this governor rode on the crest throughout all the interviews we had with him on one indivisible Ibadan with one king. And the high chiefs that went to thank him today seem to be the casualty of that process. You understand what I'm saying? So, on that process. So, how things now turn around, and now we are seeing the same high chiefs today. We've been told almost 10 of them. I have the video, I have the clip, I've seen the reports by the government station as it was taken. But I'm going to hear from the governor today, his take on the supposed, people who should be not necessarily pleased with the change of tide. But of course, it has nothing to do with governor. It was purely a judicial process. We want to know how the governor wants to situate that conversation, that development today. We'll be looking at those critical areas in terms of what he promised to do. The pillar of his administration, education, infrastructure,
expansion of the economy,
agribusiness, health, right? Those are the things he said, he will do. How has he really fared? We will take him on. We have the facts here. Whatever he's going to tell us he has been able to do,
we'll be able to fact check and cross check
whether we can controvert them or agree with him. That he's been talking about Umiti 2.0, right? Luckily for us, this station has been on the campaign trail with him. The blueprint of Umiti 2.0 is out. I've gone through it myself. But in the simplest of form, people of Oyo State want to know exactly where is it that you are taking us to. This station was the first station to define this race as a 3-horse race. We've been vindicated. As we speak today, it's remained a 3-horse race.
Yes.
Of course, that is situating what we are seeing. In the eyes of INEC, we'll still have 18 political parties that are going to go up there, on Saturday. We've seen ESCOs derobing their Guba candidates. Lójúmọmọ tó ń bọ́ aṣọ wọn lẹ̀ lọ́rùn wípé àwọn ti adopt. We've seen governorship candidates stepping down.
Yes.
We've seen endorsement upon endorsement, right? But I know one thing, and we've seen, to me, again, the nasty aspect of this campaign. At this point in time, one will expect a campaign that is based on issues, right? But you could see that in the last few weeks, people have thrown caution to the wind. Anything goes. The Boshelu is flying left, right, and center. The bottom line here is that, look, if you're able to demonize your opponents, mischaracterize your opponents, maybe people will change their mind about who he is. People vote based on perception, what they think Lagbaja or Tamadu is.
And perception is stronger than fact.
Stronger than fact. I mean, even if they see fact, they can choose to ignore it.
Yes.
Because when they are convinced, it might make sense. I mean, Chief Jekin Adeojo this morning was something else. I mean, a man that has seen it all, right? A man who, I was telling you, contested twice. Is that I contested 5 good times, and I lost it, right? So, this evening, this conversation will center around the scorecard of the governor and why he believes he deserves to be reelected. What actually makes him to believe that is the best among the rest? We want to find out. He has to come in convinced, not us, but your voters who are going to troop out en masse on Saturday. The only thing we can continually say is to the sign peace accord, right? The issue of violence, as far as Saturday's election is concerned, is giving a lot of people a lot of concern, right?
Yeah.
And we'll be using this, platform to appeal to political gladiators. People should be allowed to go and express, their choices when it comes to who to vote for on Saturday without being intimidated. Violence won't take anybody anywhere. And we had a very good presidential and national assembly election. The level of recorded, incidents of violence, very, very minimal. But we know governorship elections, very close to home, people can relate to all the candidates. So we'll be using this platform to talk to all the critical stakeholders. Let's vote. Don't let us fight. We will have a break. When we come back tonight, Governor Seyi Makide making his closing argument before you, the people of our state. For us, you know what we do at Fresh FM? We report. You decide.
Gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà lápapọ̀ ẹ má jẹ́ ká ṣe jàgídíjàgan. Ẹ jẹ́ ká dìbò yìí níràwọ̀ ìrọ̀sẹ̀. Mo ní ká má ṣe jàgídíjàgan. Ẹ jẹ́ ká dìbò yìí níràwọ̀ ìrọ̀sẹ̀. Tẹ̀mísẹ̀ ká kí wọ́tẹ̀ ká kò yẹ kó dìjà o. Ẹ jẹ́ ká dìbò yìí níràwọ̀ ìrọ̀sẹ̀. Ya salam. Odidi ìwọ ọmọ níbi níran lọ́yà gàdá ọ̀bẹ ọ̀gì ló tún lọ gbé bọn. Ó ti ẹ̀rọ ní ibi tó ti bí ẹ. Àbọ̀ ń bọ̀ wá bó pẹ́ bálọ̀bálọ̀. Má jẹ́ kẹ́nìkan lò ẹ́ fúnṣẹ́ oníbí o. Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ti gbọ́ gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà lápapọ̀ ẹ má jẹ́ ká ṣe jàgídíjàgan. Ẹ jẹ́ ká dìbò yìí níràwọ̀ ìrọ̀sẹ̀. Ló sọ pé ká má ṣe jàgídíjàgan. Ẹ jẹ́ ká dìbò yìí níràwọ̀ ìrọ̀sẹ̀. Tẹ̀mísẹ̀ ká kí wọ́n tẹ̀ ká kò yẹ kó dìjà o. Ẹ jẹ́ ká dìbò yìí níràwọ̀ ìrọ̀sẹ̀. Àníkúṣẹ́ ti máa di jàgídíjàgan. Ẹ jẹ́ ká dìbò yìí níràwọ̀ ìrọ̀sẹ̀.
Ìkéde wa láti Fresh FM Nigeria.
ọgbà tí àṣẹ jiná lòdì ìrànjẹ làwọn aláṣẹ ìjókòó tí wọ́n fẹ́ máa jẹ ọba ni wọ́n ó ṣe gàyà díẹ̀ ná ìlú ló láṣẹ ẹjẹ́ ìlú ó jẹun náà ìdí nìyí tó fi jẹ́ pé ẹ̀tọ́ ìlú là ń fowó ìlú ṣe nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀rí bí ní ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wa ṣe ń jògèrè LAUTECH ti di tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé bíi 40 ló ti wẹ̀wọ̀ ọ̀tún pẹ̀lú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tòun tòògùn àti irinṣẹ́ tó pójú owó iṣẹ́ sì ti fẹ́ẹ̀ parí pẹ̀lú lórí 100 míì jákèjádò ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ààbò tó dájú òun ohun amáyédẹrùn ní ìṣokùnfà ìdásílẹ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá láwùjọ òun náà nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fi wà nípò kẹta nínú àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tí ń pawó wọlé jùlọ lábẹ́lé nílẹ̀ wa ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀dọ́ ló ti láǹfààní ẹ̀kọ́ṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ lọ́nà ti gbàlódé táṣeyọrí yìí ó sì jẹ́ kó ń jẹ́ sùn wá bọ̀ láìpẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ń gbowó wọn lásìkò pápá àṣírí Adámàsìngbà àtàwọn inú ojú pópó tí ń sòrú dọ̀sán ń kọ́ àwọn ìlú ti sọ pásì ìwádùn níṣèjọba yìí fi ń mọrírì gbogbo àwọn aláṣẹ gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ló ń sọ fún wa pé pẹ̀lú ìṣọ̀kan wa oòrùn tó kù lókè yìí ó táṣọ ọgbẹ.
tẹ̀ka dìbò fún ẹnjìnìà Ṣèyí Mákindé lábẹ́ àṣẹ alábùradà PDP.
dìbò fún ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP. PDP.
Sọ wípé Ṣèyí ó ṣe dáadáa Ṣèyí gbogbo ayé dẹ̀rí tó bá tún dá lákejì àtúnṣe bẹ̀bẹ̀ Ṣèyí àṣẹ gúdúgúdú Nàìjíríà yọ̀ mẹ́fà o.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni o àṣeyọrí lẹ́lẹ́kàǹkà tí gómìnà ẹnjìnìà Ṣèyí Mákindé ti gbéṣe ní sáà lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ àkàkà tán ni lóòótọ́ mo gbà létò ẹ̀kọ́ ètò ìlera ètò ọ̀gbìn ètò ìrìnnà ètò ààbò ìrìn àjò afẹ́ bó ṣe ń faná ló ń somi kò fowó oṣù jòṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba àtòṣẹ́fẹ̀yìntì yá ọrọ̀ ajé wa ń rú gọ́gọ́ sí nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àtọmọdé àtàgbà àtọ̀dọ́ tó fi máa wọn kó àtàwọn àkàndá ẹ̀dá ló ń rojú rere ìjọba rẹ̀ ìdàgbàsókè aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ yìí lè tẹ̀síwájú nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ jẹ́ dìbò fún ẹnjìnìà Ṣèyí Mákindé kó wọlé gómìnà lẹ́ẹ̀kejì lábẹ́ àṣẹ ẹgbẹ́ alábùradà PDP Ṣèyí lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí gbogbo èèyàn ló ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ PDP.
Ẹnjìníà Seyi Makide for second term àṣegómìnà Ọ̀yọ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kejì torí kò ti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ àkàkà tán ìdàgbàsókè gbogbo lè tẹ̀síwájú Seyi Makide làwa fẹ́ òye.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o àṣeyọrí lẹ́lẹ́kàǹkà tí gómìnà ẹnjìníà Seyi Makide ti gbéṣe ní sáà lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ àkàkà tán ni lóòótọ́ mú gbà létò ẹ̀kọ́ ètò ìlera ètò ọ̀gbìn ètò ìrìnnà ètò ààbò ìrìn àjò afẹ́ bó ṣe ń faná ló ń somi kò fowó oṣù jòṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba àtòṣẹ́fẹ̀yìntì yá ọrọ̀ ajé wa ń rú gọ́gọ́ sí nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àtọmọdé àtàgbà àtọ̀dọ́ tó fi máa ń wọ́pọ̀ àtàwọn àkàndá ẹ̀dá ló ń rojú rere ìjọba rẹ̀ ìdàgbàsókè aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ yìí lè tẹ̀síwájú nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ jẹ́ dìbò fún ẹnjìníà Seyi Makide kó wọlé gómìnà lẹ́ẹ̀kejì lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ alábùradà PDP Seyi lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí gbogbo èèyàn ló ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ PDP.
Seyi Makide sóhun làwọn ti bò fún Seyi Makide sóhun làwọn ti bò fún àwa tí a fẹ́ kípìlẹ̀ yóò tẹ̀síwájú àwa tí a fẹ́ kípìlẹ̀ yóò tó dàgbà Seyi Makide sóhun làwọn ti bò fún.
ẹ lẹ́ńbẹ̀ o ẹ dákun bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ yìí bọ́bá dọjọ́ àbò gómìnà talẹ̀ yóò dìbò fún náà.
èèyàn tó fọmọlúàbí joyè lọ́mọ àtòlú bàbá falágídí jọba yóò bàlújẹ́ gbogbo òkè ògùn parapọ̀ Seyi Makinde ńláwọ́ ó dìbò wa fún.
ẹ dákun ẹ̀yin ńkọ́.
bọ́bá jẹ́ pé ti alọ́yọ̀ aláàfin àti gbogbo Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ pátápátá ni a ti fẹnu kò pé Seyi Makinde là ń bá a lọ.
Ìbàràpá méjèèjì náà ò jìyà mọ́ Seyi Makinde làwọ́ ó tẹ̀ka fún pin.
èmi náà kàn ní bí yín ni gbogbo ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ pátápátá tí ń bẹ ń bàdàn Seyi Makinde là á dìbò wa fún.
bọ́bá dọjọ́ ìdìbò gómìnà nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ibi àbá ti rán umbrella ibẹ̀ là á tẹ̀ sí pin.
PDP.
Afẹ́nitàdí tẹ́ ọ afẹ́nitàpẹ́ tán òun la sọ wípé Seyi ó ṣe dáadáa Seyi gbogbo ayé dẹ̀rí tó bá tún dá lákejì àtúnṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ Seyi àṣẹ gúdúgúdú méje ayọ̀ mẹ́fà o.
ó tójọ́ mẹ́ta tẹ́ ti ń gbúròó ẹnjìníà Seyi Makinde tó ti ń dá sí ìgbésí ayé ìdẹ̀rùn onípòjìpò tó sì mọ bí bàtà ìtẹ̀síwájú ti ń ta kó wá lẹ́sẹ̀ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹni tó kájú ẹ̀ ojoojúmọ́ ló ń ronú bí ìdẹ̀rùn ṣe bá gbogbo ẹni tẹ́bi ohun rere ń pa àsìkò òdìbò ló tún wọlé dé yìí o ojú ni kò là kó fọkàrọ̀ gbẹ̀yìn ọ̀ràn fẹ́ni tó bá ta ẹ̀tọ́ ẹ̀ nítorí owó tàbí gbọ́rọ̀ dídùn tẹ̀lé òfurufú jágàdo ìmọ̀ràn. àwọn ará abí tún ti dé o ṣùgbọ́n ẹni tó ní nǹkan ṣe kò ní máa dín rọ́rọ́bò ará abí ọ̀mọ̀nà odò mọ́ ọ́ dọ̀rọ̀ sáwúrúdu o àtàwé máa rọ́ àtọ̀tẹ̀ èdè pẹ̀lú àwáwí ẹni tó ṣe ni ọ̀sọ̀ fáyé sẹ́mi àwáwí ẹnjìníà Seyi Makinde ó lóun òwò bẹ̀ iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ tó ń fẹ́ ṣe ló bá òun o Seyi Makinde lóun ọ̀yàn nìkan kan ní pọ̀sìn gbogbo ẹ̀sìn lẹ̀sìn Seyi Makinde dìbò fún Seyi Makinde kọ́bẹ̀ tẹ̀síwájú ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ kó lè lépo ládò níyọ̀ ní tàbádàdádì dìbò tẹ́ lórí àmì umbrella PDP.
This is what goodness tastes like. Golden caramel, creamy buttermint, and rich coffee. There's a Cadbury candy for every moment.
Introducing Cadbury Caramel Candy, Cadbury Coffee, and your favorite Cadbury Buttermint candies. Now there's lots more to share and enjoy.
Oh yeah, there's a Cadbury candy for every moment.
Afẹ́nitàdí tẹ́ ọ afẹ́nitàpẹ́ tán afẹ́nitàdí tẹ́ ọ afẹ́nitàpẹ́ tán òun la sọ wípé Seyi ó ṣe dáadáa Seyi gbogbo ayé dẹ̀rí tó bá tún dá lákejì àtúnṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ Seyi àṣẹ gúdúgúdú méje ayọ̀ mẹ́fà o.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o àṣeyọrí lẹ́lẹ́kàǹkà tí gómìnà ẹnjìníà Seyi Makinde ti gbéṣe ní sáà lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ àkàkà tán ni lóòótọ́ mú gbà létò ẹ̀kọ́ ètò ìlera ètò ọ̀gbìn ètò ìrìnnà ètò ààbò ìrìn àjò afẹ́ bó ṣe ń faná ló ń somi kò fowó oṣù jòṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba àtòṣẹ́fẹ̀yìntì yá ọrọ̀ ajé wa ń rú gọ́gọ́ sí nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àtọmọdé àtàgbà àtọ̀dọ́ tó fi máa ń wọ́pọ̀ àtàwọn àkàndá ẹ̀dá ló ń rojú rere ìjọba rẹ̀ ìdàgbàsókè aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ yìí lè tẹ̀síwájú nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ jẹ́ dìbò fún ẹnjìníà Seyi Makinde kó wọlé gómìnà lẹ́ẹ̀kejì lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ alábùradà PDP Seyi lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí gbogbo èèyàn ló ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ PDP.
Afẹ́nitàdí tẹ́ ọ afẹ́nitàpẹ́ tán òun la sọ wípé Seyi ó ṣe dáadáa Seyi gbogbo ayé dẹ̀rí tó bá tún dá lákejì àtúnṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ Seyi àṣẹ gúdúgúdú méje ayọ̀ mẹ́fà o.
ó tójọ́ mẹ́ta tẹ́ ti ń gbúròó ẹnjìnìà Ṣèyí Mákindé tó ti ń dá sí ìgbésí ayé ìdẹ̀rùn nípòjìpò tó sì mọ bí bàtà ìtẹ̀síwájú ti ń ta kó wá lẹ́sẹ̀ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀ńtọ́ kájú ẹ̀ ojoojúmọ́ ló ń ronú bí ìdẹ̀rùn ṣe bá gbogbo ẹni tẹ́bi ohun rere ń pa àsìkò òdìbò ló tún wọlé dé yìí o ojú ni kò là kó fọkàrọ̀ gbẹ̀yìn ọ̀ràn fẹ́ni tó bá ta ẹ̀tọ́ ẹ̀ nítorí owó tàbí gbọ́rọ̀ dídùn tẹ̀lé òfurufú jágàdo ìmọ̀ràn. àwọn ará abí tún ti dé o. ṣùgbọ́n ẹni tó ní nǹkan ṣe kò ní máa dín rọ́rọ́bò. ará abí ọ̀mọ̀ náà odò mọ́ ọ dọ̀rọ̀ sáwúrúdu o. àtàwé máa rọ́ àtọ̀tẹ̀ èdè pẹ̀lú àwáwí. ẹni tó ṣe ni ọ̀sọ̀ fáyé sẹ́mi àwáwí. ẹnjìnìà Ṣèyí Mákindé ó lóun òwò bẹ̀ iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ tó ń fẹ́ ṣe ló bá òun o. Ṣèyí Mákindé lóun ọ̀yẹ́ nìkan kan nípasẹ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀sìn lẹ̀sìn Ṣèyí Mákindé. dìbò fún Ṣèyí Mákindé kó bẹ́ẹ̀ tẹ̀síwájú ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ kó lè lépo ládùn níyọ̀ níta bàdàdàdì. dìbò tẹ́ lórí àmì ọ̀mbrẹ́là PDP.
Ṣèyí Mákindé sóhun làwọn ti bò fún. Ṣèyí Mákindé sóhun làwọn ti bò fún. àwa tí a fẹ́ kípìlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ tẹ̀síwájú. àwa tí a fẹ́ kípìlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ tó kẹgbà. Ṣèyí Mákindé sóhun làwọn ti bò fún.
ẹ ǹlẹ́ ń bẹ̀ wọn o. ẹ dákun bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ yìí. bọ́bá dọjọ́ àbò gómìnà talẹ̀ yóò dìbò fún ná.
èèyàn tó fọmọlúàbí joyè lọ́mọ àtòlú bàbá Fọlágídí jọba yóò bàlú jẹ́ gbogbo òkè ògùn parapọ̀ Ṣèyí Mákindé ńláwá ó dìbò wa fún.
ẹ dákun ẹ̀yin ń kọ́.
bọ́ bá jẹ́ pé ti alọ́yọ̀ Aláàfin àti gbogbo Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ pátápátá ni a ti fẹnu kò pé Ṣèyí Mákindé là ń bá a lọ.
Ìbàràpá méjèèjì náà ò jìyà mọ́ Ṣèyí Mákindé làwá ó tẹ̀ka fún pin.
èmi náà kàn ní bí yín ni gbogbo ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ pátápátá tí ń bẹ ń bàdàn Ṣèyí Mákindé là á dìbò wa fún.
bọ́bá dọjọ́ ìdìbò gómìnà nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ibi àbá ti rán umbrella ibẹ̀ là tẹ̀ sí pin.
PDP.
4 Ṣèyí 5 Ṣèyí 6 Ṣèyí 7 Ṣèyí 8.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o àṣeyọrí lẹ́lẹ́kàǹkà tí gómìnà ẹnjìnìà Ṣèyí Mákindé ti gbéṣe ní sáà lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ àkàkà tán ni lóòótọ́ mo gbà létò ẹ̀kọ́ ètò ìlera ètò ọ̀gbìn ètò ìrìnnà ètò ààbò ìrìn àjò afẹ́ bó ṣe ń faná ló ń somi kò fowó oṣù jòṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba àtòṣẹ́fẹ̀yìntì yá ọrọ̀ ajé wa ń rú gọ́gọ́ sí nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àtọmọdé àtàgbà àtọ̀dọ́ tó fi máa ń wọ́pọ̀ àtàwọn àkàndá ẹ̀dá ló ń rojú rere ìjọba rẹ̀ ìdàgbàsókè aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ yìí lè tẹ̀síwájú nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ jẹ́ dìbò fún ẹnjìnìà Ṣèyí Mákindé kó wọlé gómìnà lẹ́ẹ̀kejì lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ alábùradà PDP Ṣèyí lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí gbogbo èèyàn ló ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ PDP power.
Of course, a lot of great leaders are always remembered for things said, actions done, and in terms of body language, sitting down with Governor Seyi Makide as a candidate for close to almost 10 years now, right? They have been having one-on-one with him. I still remember that interview on Bottom Line with Bisola Dele and Dari Adekombi. You remember?
Yes.
You know, it was a build up to 2015, election that time. Now 2019, one thing that seemed to fascinate me has to do with that statement of his as regard look, and I'm going to quote him. I cannot be right all the time, but one thing I know is this: I will always be honest with the people of your state. I mean, that is one of his greatest, in terms of strength of character, right? Which was one of the things that Chief Yakin Adeojo also spoke about. Chief Yakin Adeojo, when he was talking this morning, he was almost speaking along the same line of what we saw here in this same studio in 2019. Remember, then Olubadan, Chief Rashid Laloja here, sitting where, yes, I think it was where Dari sat. Yeah. So he said, she is a candidate, but one thing I know about him, he's stubborn. This morning, Chief Yakin Adeojo also reiterated, he used the same language, that look, he is a forceful person when it comes to his core belief. He stands by what he believes in. Until you're able to prove otherwise, that the position he's holding is not sustainable or is not tenable, you will have to have your facts before you can ever concede. How that has actually shaped his administration in the last 3 years plus, as we review his scorecard, critically, and subject them to critical analysis. Again, within the backdrop of what he said he's going to do. Is he coming to double down on those successes recorded? The shortcomings that we have also seen. The side that a lot of people believe he has not done enough. I think he's been also man enough to own up. To say, look, here I didn't do well. I failed. Quite, uncharacteristic of a typical Nigerian leader, Bisi Oladile.
Thank you very much, as a brand mayor. Let me also join my voice to those of my colleagues, hailing the chairman of this station, and for the opportunity to do what we do know how to do best, and also you offering good leadership on this program. It's good. It's because we have done it before that we can refer to it now. It's what we have done before that we are using as a benchmark now. If we hadn't done anything, remember you were just making reference to the one we did even before 2019.
Absolutely.
All right? We interacted with these top politicians on our program, and we let them talk to the public to actually let people know who they are and what they really want to offer. It offers the members of the public an opportunity to see part of the heart of whoever that is aspiring to lead them. And that's why it's good for us to use it to benchmark after 4 years, after 3 years. Like you pointed out, it is noteworthy that this man has not been claiming that he knows all. Rather than a weakness, wise people say it's a mark of greatness. Because when you are in a position where several people defer to you, where you are in charge of many things that can determine the destiny of millions of people, and you are able to say, yes, I may have been wrong. I think I will review that. We will look at it again and we'll make necessary correction. It's a mark of greatness. And we have to give it to this man. And it is not that he says it in the closet, only when he's with his associates or with members of the executive council, or just, he says it to the public. At public fora, he will say, well, some people are saying we are not doing this right. Well, there are other factors we are considering, but we are not always saying that we know everything. We will look at it again. If what they are saying, if we see credibility in what they are saying, why not? We will do it differently. All that is important to us is that we are beneficiary of every decision that his government takes. So we have to give it to him. It's a mark of humility. It's a mark of greatness. Good leaders, people that a lot of people will still say, well, people want, a lot of people, I mean, the ordinary man on the street want to look for what is it that we can say this man, in what areas can we say this man has been offensive to us? In what area can we say this man has misbehaved? In what way can we say this man has... So it's a bit difficult to list such and say, oh, because of this man will never get my vote. So I also acknowledge that, and he, like he says, governance is a work in progress. They keep getting better. They keep learning more, and all of those, listening to every side, listening to every interest, listening to, paying attention to all perspectives, helps you to take a wise decision. And I think it has paid off severally for his administration in the last 4 years.
I mean, Dari, whether you like it or not, one thing we cannot take away, when we keep, contrasting the past, trying to mirror it as far as the present is concerned, a lot has also changed since 4 years ago that candidate Seyi Makide walked into this studio. Fast forward to now, the political landscape of your state is no longer the same. The Akalas, the Ajimobis, we're in a new era. You want to help us situate, the era we have found ourselves. 4 years ago, 4 years down the line. The mighty.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Exiting.
I did an analysis of the build-up to the election, and I came to the conclusion that the gatekeepers, like Chief Yaktola would say, are thinning out. We had the gatekeepers in 2019. You know that Oyo State politics then stood on a tripod. Former Governor Rashidi Adewale-Ladoja, former Governor Adeba Alawakala, and of course the incumbent then, Governor Abiola Ajimobi. Those were the three main actors in the political firmament of Oyo State. And of course, they were trying to build something in 2019. And of course, at the end of the day, we say former Governor Akala miscalculated by, ditching the coalition that was his brainchild.
Absolutely.
And going to the other side. So it became 2 versus 1 at that time. Of course, former Governor Rashid Adewale-Ladoja said there was no going back. And the coalition was built. And when you look at what happened then and what happened now, of course, you know that we can't talk about governorship election in Oyo State without talking about the influence of Alaafin. But in 2023, Alaafin passed on before we could talk about election. He passed on last year. So Seun passed on. Asheyin passed on. So the gatekeepers are thinning out. The rank of the gatekeepers is fast getting depleted. So you have, that's why the people that are trying to build an alliance in the build up to Saturday's election, the arrangement they have come up with is still, for me, is still nebulous. It's not clear, and there is no alliance that you can build in an environment where you have a 3-horse race that will be, in terms of glory, majesty, and splendor, that can compare to what we had in 2019. That of 2019, you can say was, in fact, in my analysis, I said, as it was in 2019, it is not in 2023. That was my conclusion, that the kind of alliance coalition that was built in 2019, where you had not just the candidate, even the party structure. You had the candidate, the governorship candidate, and the party structure, dropping to support Engineer Seyi Makide at that point. But what do we have in the build-up to Saturday's election in Oyo State? We have about 0.05 of a party going to join another party. In fact, we even had stories of the registered parties coming to adopt a candidate in the registered parties, Mayor. As far as INEC is concerned, there are 18 political parties in Nigeria today. So we've had all kinds of drama in the build-up to this Saturday's election. But I still don't see that alliance. Because in 2019, the choices were either or. But now, you say, that is not the case. That is no longer the case. It's not an either or thing. So it was possible for all the gladiators to coalesce on a platform to say, this is where we are. Because they realized that in 2015, Governor Abiola Ajimobi became governor by just about 32%
of the votes.
Senator Rashid Ladoja, who was account candidate, got 29%. Just about 3% difference of about 70,000 votes at that point. So they were trying to build an alliance in 2015. I was part of the arrangement from the beginning to the end. They were trying to build up an alliance for Senator Rashid Adewale-Ladoja, the candidate of our court. Everything was done. Discussions were made. Meetings were held. Mayor, and the terms of the coalition were drawn on a sheet of paper. The PDP state chairman at that time, our Taiwo, he said, "Okay, the arrangement was that the running mate to Senator Ladoja at that time, this man from Iseyin, was going to step down after the election so that they to accommodate that was part of the terms of the 2015 coalition, that they were trying to build. The chairman of the PDP, Egbonyin Kataiwo, said they were going to type those stamps out, and he left Bodija and never returned. That was how the alliance could not hold at that time. They said these people are not sincere, so let's go into the election.
Back to your tent.
Back to your tent, Israel. After the election, the opposition party came together and they started ruining their loss at the election.
Claiming Ajimobi's government was a minority government.
Was a minority government because he had 32 and the opposition had 68. Who 68 help if it is not together in a basket?
I agree with you absolutely.
So you could not basket all of you into a platform to challenge. If they had done that, they would have succeeded in 2015.
Absolutely.
But that did not happen. But I'm sure history will record those who did not make that alliance to happen. We know them, but we know this is not a platform to talk. When the election is done and dusted, we'll come here, Mayor, to review the factors, the dynamics, the things that will play out in Saturday's election. So it didn't happen in 2015, but in 2019 they said, let us borrow ourselves sense, like they say on the street. If we allow another mistake of 2015, the mistake of 2015 to repeat itself, of course, history failed. I mean, when you fail to learn from history,
it repeats itself.
It repeats itself. So they came together. So it was, and of course, at that point in time, the mood in the town was that, the then governor, Ajimobi, had already offended a lot of people. The Olubadan chieftaincy matter was done in the second term. So the mood in the state at that time even was very congenial to the coalition that they were trying to build at that time, because the mood was that, we want this man because he's been riding roughshod over us. He dresses down people, he talks down to people anyhow. So they felt it should be an opportunity for them.
And they saw in Adelabu a continuation of his thought.
Yeah, that was what they said. You remember in this today when Senator Ladoja said, we will not allow Ajimobi to succeed himself, because that's the interpretation. Every poster of Vaya Adelabu, they were not seeing Vaya Adelabu, they were seeing Ajimobi. That, this is the man that is coming. Of course, that is now history. That is now history. And we now have 2023 that is upon us. Mayor, like I said earlier, the alliance, the coalition in this state, it cannot be compared to what happened in 2019. Therefore,
everybody is going to be on their own moving to Saturday. Today is the final day of the campaign. Of course, we know conversation has been going on. We've seen parties, saying they are adopting a particular candidate or the other. We've seen pushbacks, as we speak.
24 hours is a long time in politics.
I absolutely know.
And you've seen that picture?
I've seen. No. The point is this: electioneering or campaigning may end today. Political negotiation will surely continue till tomorrow.
To the early hours of Saturday. To the early hours of Saturday.
But Ibi,
nǹkan ti change o. Overnight. Ẹ má lọ bẹ̀ yẹn. Ibi la tún lọ sí, ibi la lọ sí.
Of course, Demola Babalola. I mean, for Governor Seyi Makide, hurdles to cross as far as Saturday is concerned. Is a known quantity now. If somebody is going to run on his record, we are going to hear some of those things tonight. As Daddy has been able to tell us how gatekeepers are thinning out. But even when gatekeepers are thinning out, new powerhouses I also imagine, right? For Governor Seyi Makide and the people of Oyo State, it's all about contrast now. The leading candidates are well-known quantities, right, to the people of Oyo State. People are going to go to vote on Saturday based on perception. They know Governor Makinde, they know Senator Folari, they know Shivadeba Adelabu Penkelmesi. And before them, they have to make a choice. The weight is more on Governor Seyi Makinde. Others, like you said during the debate, they are saying, if elected, we will. For him, he has. And what he has done, of course, the people out there will not take decision. Pass mark, failure, to justify their votes for him. Massive responsibility on his shoulder.
Mayor, I agree with you. Perception in politics is something that political analysts and political scientists have to look into critically in situating the mode of every electoral cycle in Nigeria. The governor has been on the saddle for close to 4 years now, and whether anybody likes it or not, he is running on some of the scorecards in various sectors of the state's economy and polity of the government of the